Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Don't touch that remote. Got a great time. This is one show where you have to listen. And it's all about hearing. And so I'm a guy that needs hearing aids, and I got them. But I got to keep checking. And, you know, they get a little bit better and better. You know, just like science. They get a little better, get something new, something new. And so I have the top people we're going to have a little demonstration. We're going to explain, going to help. So this is all about you. If you have an aunt, an uncle, grandpapa, grandmom that don't hear too good, good. We got something for you, okay? So in this corner, like they say in Madison Square Garden, tell them who you are.
I'm Jorge Zavala. I'm a doctor of audiology from Norriton Hearing Center, which is...
And you're located where?
East Johnson Highway, 710 East Johnson Highway.
Used to be out in East Norriton, but now
we moved some years ago now.
Right, some years ago.
I took over Karen Cooper's practice. She'd been there for a very long time.
I used to go there, right? Mm-hmm. And tell me who your guest is here.
We also have Wendy Davis from Caption Call, and we'll be talking about her fantastic company.
So I'm the account manager for the Greater Philadelphia area for Caption Call, which provides captioning phone service for the deaf and hard of hearing. It's a free service. It's federally funded.
Okay, in other words, it's not going to cost anything. Okay.
Correct.
So you hold on to that because we
will.
want to get right down to the grass tax. Is it the grass or brass tax?
Brass tax.
Yeah, well, whatever. All right, I got some questions here for you, okay, from the audience. Here's one here. What's new in the world of hearing aids since the last time I spoke to you? I hear rechargeable is new. What's that?
So that is the latest craze in hearing aids, is rechargeable options. There have always been rechargeable options, or at least for a few years now. But generally speaking, the products that were available were not at the high-end level that was really available. You had to have technology that was subpar that would actually carry a full day's charge. So hearing aids, you have to change batteries every week.
Yeah.
Some people every 3-4 days, depending on the size of the battery. It's a little bit of an inconvenience for some people, and some people can't even...
little battery, recharge them?
Yep. So what you do is they come in these little...
Hold it up here.
Yep. It's a little charger, so there's a little magnet, you know, and when you're finished at the end of the day, instead of opening your battery door like you were used to, you just kind of put them in your charger, right there. Your little lights blink and they charge overnight. And then they're ready to go for the next time.
Forever.
Yeah. Well, they last, the actual batteries.
You have to buy these. They not federal?
Well, it's part of the product. So if you're purchasing a hearing aid, you can get either the regular traditional batteries or the rechargeable version.
Okay.
So
that's one thing. All right. What else? Real fast.
All right.
Well, we only got a half hour here. We're going to cover a lot. Go ahead.
Well, that's the biggest advance since last time. There are
money
other
saver.
issues.
Money saver. Go ahead.
Well, you would think it's a money saver, but it's not, Hank. The batteries themselves, if you lose one of these tiny batteries, the battery itself is about $50.
What? This here?
No. So inside of the hearing aid, there is a rechargeable battery.
Yeah.
So if you were to lose that battery for some reason, then it's a $50 replacement. So that's not that cheap. Now, some of the companies, the battery itself will last you a year. Some of them will last you 3 years. It kind of depends. So you would think that it's a money saver, but it's not necessarily. It's just a convenience factor.
It's a convenience. Well, if you're going to get your ears checked, you better get your eyes checked so you don't lose them.
That's right.
All right. And then I got another question from a lady over there with the green dress up there in the balcony. I've heard something about the over-the-counter Hearing Act 2017. What's that about?
So
it's act. It's a federal, some federal?
So this is Senator Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Grassley came together and put together some legislation on a bipartisan manner to try to, really the driving force is the consumer end, that, you know, hearing aids are very, very expensive. They're not really accessible to the mass, you know, that needs them.
Yeah.
Right now, a very, very small percentage of people with hearing loss actually wear hearing aids, and one of the main reasons for that is the cost of hearing aids. So this was kind of like the driving force behind the Over-the-Counter Hearing Aid Act of 2017, which is basically it's a new category of hearing aids that they're trying to open up, something over the counter.
Oh.
And this is a controversial topic. You know, I think what they're really doing is reclassifying amplifiers, and they're trying to kind of find a way to get people with mild or moderate hearing losses to enter the hearing aid process earlier so that they'll do something about their hearing loss. Now there are concerns on like from my end on the provider end, you know, I see people all the time that try to fit themselves with something they get, you know,
I know. I
online.
started out with one, and that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is everybody tries to do it the way they think is the right way,
yeah,
and hearing healthcare is very difficult. It's difficult to navigate. So the big concern, at least on the provider end of things, is, you know, are people going to be shortchanging themselves with inappropriate care and thinking that that is the way it is?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Someone has a little bit of a problem. They come to your office on Johnson Highway, right?
Yes.
And can you check them? How much does it cost to get them checked?
The hearing aids, or to get the ears checked?
Yeah.
Well, so
how's that work?
It's a process. So at Johnson Highway, I'm a doctor of audiology. So
You're a doctor, right? You just don't. You're not a salesman.
I am not a salesman. No. I am a doctor of audiology. It's not a physician. It's a professional degree in hearing health sciences. So my particular profession is able to bill insurance for the care. So because we have a higher level, you know, degree, Medicare allows us to bill for a hearing evaluation. The Blue Cross, Aetna, all the insurance companies, you know, we can
you work it out for them.
So if you have insurance, then it's covered by your insurance, whatever your contract with the insurance is. Right. Now there's some people without insurance, and then there's usually, you know, out-of-pocket fee. There are places that cannot charge for hearing tests. In order to get people in, they advertise free hearing tests. And that the reason it's free is because, well, they can't charge, so they're trying to capture that patient.
And sometime they're gonna make sure that you buy the hearing aids. They're gonna make sure you got it.
A lot of times the aim is hearing aid sales as opposed to hearing health care.
Well, I'm what do you call it? Example number one. When I was a policeman, we used to target practice. And we're over in Upper Merion, Lower Merion, they had the pistol range. And they didn't tell us anything about putting cotton in your ears or things now, you know. And boom, 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 guy on this side, guy on that side, pow, pow, pow. Oh my God! When my ears were ringing for a week, you know, and then that was sort of caused me some problems as I was growing up, I guess you would say, getting older. Then I went swimming up around Green Lane. And I don't know, I think that water was a little contaminated, and I got an infection. My ears swelled up over here, all up like that. I had an infection in there. So since then, so I used to go to a meeting with the school district when I was with the police department, and Dr. Holton was the superintendent of the school. And I would listen, I'm listening, and finally, I said, I think it's a good idea with it. Dr. Holton says, Hank, we just talked about that 5 minutes ago. After the meeting, he says, look, you better go get your ears. You're not with it, you know. So little by little, that's how I got it, you know. So don't wait too long. I'm 93. Give me a break. Go ahead.
I see that time and time again. I mean, people coming in, and it's like, you know, they've been for years, you know, told,
Right.
you need to do something about you. You're not understanding. And most people say, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, the problem is hearing loss, for the most part, occurs very, very gradually, and you adapt to it, and you
Right.
feel like nothing's changed. So then something happens one day. I had a particular patient that had a friend that she ran into, and the friend, you know, told her, hey, you know, my husband passed away, and, you know, and she just turned, she's like, oh, that's fantastic, you know, that's great, and,
Yeah.
you know, and she was with her daughter. Her daughter was horrified. Afterwards, she explained what had happened. She was horrified. She came in, and she's like, all right, well, you know, I need hearing aids. But it shouldn't have to take an incredibly embarrassing situation, because who knows how many other mistakes she's been making at her doctor's office. You know, she goes to the doctor, they tell her she has to do something, she might have misheard that.
You read this to him. It's one from the lady up there, the top there. Read that for him.
Okay.
It's a question for him.
Dr. Zavala, what are the early signs of hearing loss?
Early signs of hearing loss. Okay, so probably the number one thing that you need to look out for is listen to the people around you.
Oh.
The people around you, they watch you, they know when you're missing things, and they are probably the best screening tool.
You know, and some of the people, they're not very polite, you know, when you don't miss something. I tell them, and I say, what'd you say? Well, come on, tell me what you said. Don't give me heck.
Well, you know, that's one of the things is hearing loss masks itself in a way that you're putting out this, I don't care about you, I'm not listening to you, or at least that's what the other person is perceiving from you. You're not listening to me. You don't care what I'm saying because I just said that. And it's incredible. There are a lot of things that happen that it'll affect your relationships with other people, and you don't even have a clue that this is happening. There are situations where your family members are about to say something to you, and they'll say, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to tell him, he won't catch it anyways. Or, you know, or you'll be sitting at a restaurant and you'll be fading out. You're not hearing what's happening, so why are you going to pay attention? And that is terrible, terrible for your psychology.
It's embarrassing for me sometimes, but I'm a professional boxer. I know how to handle it if they give me a hard time.
Let me just say one more thing, though. One of the big early signs that I always get as well is the TV's too loud. TV. I mean, TV.
That's right.
TV is difficult for people with normal hearing in certain programs, anyways. But when there's even a little bit of hearing loss, the people around you'll say your TV's up too high, and that's a great sign.
Yeah, well, you know, I watch TV and I put the caption on. My youngest daughter, take that caption off it. Get out of here! You're in my house. Watch it there. All right, here's another one from this guy here with the brown hat on it. Take your hat off. Go ahead.
So, what are the risks of untreated hearing loss?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, as we were just discussing, isolation, stress, anxiety, long-term.
What's that last one?
Anxiety, stress, depression is a big one. There are several studies that have come out and have pointed to a correlation, some sort of correlation between dementia and hearing loss.
Wow.
Now, there's no solid proof that one causes the other, but they're together. So the idea is, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right.
So, you know, it's very important to deal with hearing loss the same way you would deal with any other medical condition. If you have hearing loss, you need either surgical treatment if it's an option,
Right.
or you need hearing aids. You need to deal with it. Just like diabetes, just like high blood pressure, all those things, nobody would blink if you told them you're out of the normal range, you need to take this medication, they take the medication. You tell somebody they have mild hearing loss, I tell people all the time, you have severe hearing loss. Okay. They don't do anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one other thing too, let me mention a word to the veterans. If you're a veteran, you can go to the up at Coatesville, make a phone call, and then you'll make an appointment, and you'll get a test, and also get hearing aids free. So that's one thing. Tell me more about that.
There is a...
There's other organizations now. You got federally funded. We're going to hear from you. Don't think that you're sitting there just being quiet. We're going to have you demonstrate this. You're going to, people see it. They don't know what it is. You're going to tell them what it is. Go ahead.
Sir.
Well, I was just going to mention that the VA, there's a misconception that I get all the time from my patients. I'm not going to even bother with a VA because all they have is junk.
Yeah.
That is so beyond correct. The VA has
I got a
access.
call. Go ahead.
They have access to the absolute best technology.
The cheapest stuff.
The best, no, the best.
Yeah.
They work with the best.
Yeah.
The best manufacturers, the top tier products, and the best manufacturers.
Is that good?
That is great.
But what? What's the problem?
There's no but. Well, the only but I would say is they're overloaded. They have so many patients. The VA has so many patients. So the problem that I see is that I see a lot of veterans coming saying they can't get an appointment with the VA, or they didn't have the care and time that they needed at their appointments to learn how to use the hearing aids, how to take care of them properly, how to follow up. And that is, in my opinion, the number one issue, not only problem with I'm not going to say that it's just the VA, it's with a lot of providers that are out there. Service has traditionally been bundled into the price of hearing aids, but they'll tell the patient, come back when you have a problem.
Yeah.
So at Norriton Hearing Center, every single patient leaves with their next appointment unless they decide not to.
Yeah.
So there's always follow-up. We clean the hearing aids. We maintain them, make sure everything's working properly.
And that calls where I have to call the president now. Wait a minute. Hello, President. Yeah. All right. Listen, check out the VA there for the hearing, okay? And keep bobbing and weaving over there, all right? And get after them guys that are kneeling down. Okay, bye-bye. All right,
I'm
now,
certainly
I don't want
not-
to get no politics here.
I'm certainly not knocking the VA because I think that they do
Oh, yeah,
a great job with what they've got.
I'll tell you, Coatesville is great.
They are.
I
I've heard
have
very
no
good
problem.
things.
In fact, they have a sign there, and it says, if you're in a waiting room, if you're waiting more than 15 minutes, you ring the bell and tell the supervisor.
Really?
So, yeah,
Wow.
they have a sign there.
That's great.
Because I remember when I first went there, way back, I don't know how many years ago, but I used to sit there for hours, And so, all right, here's one more from the balcony.
Okay. How do we convince people to look into hearing aids? I really need the answer for that one because my father is being very difficult about getting hearing aids.
There's no easy answer to that. Okay, every single person is
Has
an
a different-
individual. Every single person has a reason why they do or don't want to go through the process of hearing aids. I find a lot of times it's stigma. A lot of times, again, is the fear of how much it's going to cost, all these sort of things. So I would say find a good professional with good counseling skills
Yeah.
and hope that at that appointment something will
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
Something will
It's
spark
something- yeah, something's
and make
hidden.
them realize
Yeah.
there are all sorts of things that can kind of trigger that action out of somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, again, there's just no
right.
easy way to answer that.
Now, on the way into the school, we're in Norriton High School, one of the teachers stopped me, and she had this question here, and I wrote it down, the one with the circle.
Oh, this is a good one. What are made for iPhone and Android hearing aids?
That is, I think maybe last time I was here, that was kind of in the pipeline. I'm not even sure I talked about it. But so nowadays, I'd say four of the big top manufacturers now have the ability to directly connect the hearing aids to smartphones.
Okay.
So what that means is your phone right there rings, you touch a button, you're hearing the person directly through the hearing aids.
That's an extra feature you put on here?
That's right. So then you don't even have to, you're just, you know, you're just hearing the person beautifully because you're used to hearing with one ear when you hold the phone up. When you're hearing out of the two ears, whew, forget it. It's much better. Plus, there are other capabilities that you can use it as a remote control, change your settings right on the hearing aid. Nowadays, there's a couple manufacturers that allow you to send a message to your audiologist and say, you know, every time I go to a restaurant, the sound is just very tinny, let's just say. All right, so you send that message. They're like, what can you do for me? That's on the phone, right? So I get the message on my computer, and I go into your fitting software on the computer, and I can make changes to the programming on your hearing aid, send them to your phone, you accept it, and the changes in that hearing aid are made automatically. So now it's kind of like a telemedicine type feature where you're able to program and work with patients long distance. Yeah, we know one other experience I've had when I was a professional referee. I was refereeing fights down the Spectrum in the arena, and there was like at the end of the round, these guys were left and right, and the crowd screaming, and the bell rings. I don't hear the bell, you know, and people saying stop, you know, they're throwing the towels in. I didn't hear it, you know. But and then there was a fighter by the name of Eugene Hairston. They call him Eugene Silent Hairston. He fought in New York. He was a great middleweight fighter, and he was totally deaf. And what he did, nobody wanted to fight him because he used to hit after the bell. So in Madison Square Garden, they put red lights on each pole. So when the bell rang, the lights went on. And but he was a pretty good fighter, but I don't know what happened. But there was something, the first time they ever did that, you know.
That's amazing.
So
That's
silent, and then the guy that owned the gymnasium one time, he was going to and he couldn't talk or hear, and he was going like this. He says, "You shut up." He says, "I can't." Tell the guy I wasn't even making no noise. So whatever. That was true. All right, now got one more here. The last one. What's that question?
Are implants for everyone? Are they invisible?
Okay.
Now, what do you mean by implants?
Okay, so this is a
An
question.
operation?
I get this question very often. You know, everybody again wants the invisible hearing aid. They want to be treated with the most, you know, the easiest thing. So everybody wants to know, is an implant good for me? Now, what they have, what's out there is called a cochlear implant, and that's what typically people are referring to when they speak about an implant. I actually even brought an example of one.
Okay.
So an implant refers to an internal implanted electrode, a little wire that goes into the ear. Not into your ear canal, not the eardrum, deep inside where your nerve is.
Yeah.
They put a little wire inside. And what that little wire does is it actually destroys, for the most part, all your leftover hearing. So you never want to do an implant unless it's the last resort.
Yeah, last resort, yeah.
In addition to this implant, at the end of the electrode, there's a little magnet. And that magnet is underneath your skin.
Oh, underneath the skin,
Underneath
not
the
underneath
skin.
the bone.
It's actually sitting within a little, they dig a trench in the
Oh,
bone.
okay.
And then they put the flap of skin over it. Then it heals. And then what happens is you program a processor.
Oh, that gets right in there.
So it looks like a hearing aid, okay? And it would basically go over the ear like this.
And goes in.
And then this coil is a magnet. So what you do is you put it up here where the magnet is underneath, and that's how this is going to talk to the
Fits right in there.
inside part. So, you know, the reason people ask me about the
I
implant.
see people like that, and I didn't know what it was.
That's the cochlear implant. Now, cochlear implants, there's a time where hearing aids are no longer beneficial to a person, where their ability to understand speech is so bad, even with hearing aids, that we decide to do something like this. It's a whole different way of hearing. It has to be surgically implanted. It takes a lot of work,
Right.
as far as programming and a lot of other things. But again, there's that misconception that it's an implant, so it's invisible, so that's what I want. That's not what most people want. You don't want to have your hearing be at that level where you need
Yeah.
something like this.
Okay.
Now they've gotten a little smaller. This is the most
My
recent
God.
device. You no longer need this whole big thing. This would just
But
go
the
right
Army
up to
don't
the
give you
magnet.
anything like that, do they?
They do.
They do?
Yeah. The VA, if you are a candidate for
Yeah.
that, then you would go through the system.
All right, now, she's going to be explaining this here, but I just, is there anything else you want to say to the people out there that need a little help?
No, I would say the most important thing when trying to do something about your hearing loss
Yeah.
is finding the right person.
Like,
I would love to
Yeah,
help
I-
anybody out. 710 East Johnson Highway in Norristown.
all right, now, this is you. I want you to explain this. You lady came to my house, and my the little socket where you plug in for the telephone, not working. The wire is dead.
Right.
So she took it back. Now, go ahead. Tell me this here. Tell them all about it.
So this is the Caption call phone. It provides captioning for your phone calls. So for people that are struggling to follow conversations on the phone, this has great amplification, so it's really loud, but it also has captioning. So if you miss a
I
word
mean, does
here or
that
there,
speak out too?
yes, yes.
Oh,
So we can actually go into the audio demo.
To try the volume range available. The Caption call
okay, call
So
on
can
the
you
phone?
hear that a little bit?
along with
Yeah.
That's the volume on the handset. So people can actually play with the volume in this demo mode and hear how loud the phone gets. But this phone gets much, much louder than a phone that you would get off the shelf at another store. And this is a special phone. You need to be certified by a medical professional to qualify for this program. So it's at no cost for people with hearing loss.
In other words, and it's no big wire and over it, they just plug it in.
Correct. So this uses the internet in order to do the captioning because it's real-time captioning. We actually have captionists who are captioning your phone conversations for you. And we can do a little demo here so you
Yeah.
can see. This looks a lot like your smartphone. You have your recent calls.
What's that? Is that recording the numbers it called?
Right, it keeps a log, a history,
keeps a log.
yes, of your calls. And you'll see it has a phone book, just like on your cell phone. So when the Caption Call trainer comes to your home and installs the phone for you, we will enter phone numbers for you to help you get started. It makes it easier to use the phone.
And there's no connection with this.
No, not with the cell phone.
Okay,
No.
okay.
So you'll see here we have a phone number that was entered.
This is for the home,
Yes.
right?
Now, this phone, you can either use the handset or speakerphone to hear
Yeah.
the conversation. So you can still hear someone speaking to you.
It's like on my TV. I watch it and I got the volume up. Yeah.
Exactly, and it has the captioning as well. Now, my husband and I, we have 4 children, and 2 of our children were born with hearing loss. So we had this phone installed at our house, and our children used this phone in order to make their phone calls. And then the gentleman who installed the phone for us recruited me to come work for the company.
How about, now that goes away, you don't see it no more? If I miss it, can I bring it back?
Yes, you can. There's actually a function on here called Save Call. So it will capture.
Oh, I missed the call, and it'll come back?
Well, it's from your live conversation. If you say, for example, you're speaking to a medical professional and they're giving you a lot of information, and it's a lot for you to process at the time, you can save the captioning from that phone call. So after you hang up with the doctor's office, you can go back and reread everything he told you. So you can make sure you didn't miss any pertinent information.
Now, to get one of these here, the only thing, I have to go see a hearing and get something
Yes,
in writing
there's a-
that you qualify federal money.
Right. So this has all been funded through the TRS fund, which is the Telecommunications Relay Service Fund. So this was, everyone pays into this fund. It's on an FCC surcharge on your home.
You don't have to be a veteran.
No, everybody. My kids qualify. They're not veterans. Anybody with
You
hearing
could be a
loss.
truck driver. You could be whatever.
Exactly. And we've all paid into this fund so that it is at no cost for our disabled Americans. who
And then
have hearing
nothing
loss.
to come and install. No install. Yeah.
Right, we come in and we set it up for you because I know
Yeah.
it can be tricky
The girl came in and the
sometimes.
wire was dead.
So-
No. So,
Yeah, the telephone line. So we'll
that's
get
one of
that
the
taken
latest
care of.
things, right? Is there anything else that maybe we forgot? Is it the latest thing that's available for people to get? What do you got?
Well, I also wanted to remind you about the Pennsylvania Walk for Hearing, which is a big event at the Navy Yard on October 22nd.
Repeat that.
The Pennsylvania Walk for Hearing,
Okay,
October 22nd at the Navy Yard.
okay.
Um,
What time?
It starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
and it's a full-day event. The Philly Fanatic is going to be there.
Make sure everybody
The
has
fire
hearing
truck.
aids and don't bump into
Yeah.
each other,
We had 2,200 walkers
right? I get
at
this.
the event. So great event, bring the kids, have lunch, spend
Is
the
there
day.
anything
at the
else you want to
yard.
tell us?
For anyone who has hearing loss, the HLLA is the Hearing Loss Association of America. It's the largest nonprofit that advocates for the deaf and hard of hearing.
How do you get them? What do you
Go to
subscribe?
the website, HLAA.org, and sign up, join the organization. There are local chapters. It's great for networking, to get you out of the house, and all the events are captioned, so everybody can hear what's going on, knows
Okay.
what's going on at the events.
All right, now while we're talking about advertisement, on October the 12th at Elmwood Park, the Columbus celebration, the Columbus Day celebration, and afterwards a free lunch at Mascara's office up in Lower Providence. And then there's another one, St. Titus is having about 10 or 12 magicians. And Sam Sandler, great guy. A lot of people saw him. He was there last year. And this is going to be on October 14th, 7:30. And it's $10, $20. And under 18, $10. And if you got a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children, $50. You can't beat that. The only way you beat that is with a baseball bat. Now, okay. Now, the latest thing, you think there's anything in the front burner that's going to come out that you would like to see happen?
Wow, yeah, hair cell regeneration.
A what?
Hair cell regeneration,
Oh.
which means a cure for hearing loss.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
You think
they're
someday
working
they'd have
on
a pill?
it. Well, no, it might be some sort of gene therapy. I don't know. I'm not really sure what they will be doing, but that's certainly a possibility. I don't know if it'll be during my professional lifetime, but they're working on it.
All right, tell me something about you.
Something about me. I have a beautiful wife, Sarah,
Yes.
and 2 amazing kids, Nina and JR.
What's your wife's name?
Sarah.
All right, and what's
Sarah.
Sarah? There's not too many Sarahs around.
No,
Sarah
it's
Prowlin.
it's a very rare name.
Yeah.
My
And the
daughter
kids?
is my daughter's 3 years old. Her name's Nina, and my son is
Nina?
Nina.
That's a nice.
Yeah. My son JR is Jorge Ryan Zavala, so we call him
How
JR.
old is he?
He's 7.
7. Well, that's a
7.
nice age now.
So I got-
All right, you. Tell me something about you.
So I have 4 children, and our oldest is actually working on his PhD in cell and molecular developmental biology. So maybe he'll
There's our
work
answer
on
right
that.
there.
What's that?
There's our answer.
He'll work on that regeneration of the hair cells.
yeah.
Our daughter Caroline, who was born with hearing loss, is a junior at Rochester Institute of Technology, and she plays ice hockey up there.
Yeah, any of them sing?
She did. She loves to sing.
What
even
kind
with
of
her
sing?
hand-
Now, singing show business?
Yeah, she used to do musicals while she was in
get
high
her over
school.
here.
Can I just
You got any
say,
singers?
can
Go
I
ahead.
just say that her kids are featured in
Oh.
this magazine?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, flash
well,
it.
there
And
is.
my babies are
Oh, my
twins
God.
and are seniors in high school. And there was actually an article about the kids playing ice hockey with hearing loss.
Oh, she's ice hockey.
We're an ice
Yeah, my
hockey
grandson
family.
plays ice hockey up in Oaks. Oh, it's she or he?
So our daughter plays hockey, and she's a junior in college, and the twins both play. Clark and Stewart play hockey as well. They play for
The
Conestoga.
girl plays ice hockey?
Yes, she played for Conestoga.
Oh, I shouldn't how they have the girl boxers too. But, all right, so ladies and gentlemen, and this was one of very interesting. I like entertainment and but information. So for people that need help, it's out there. Just reach out and get it. Make a phone call.
Yep.
Check with him at the Norriton and
So captioncall.com to find out about getting a captioning phone call. Dr. Zavala has a phone in his office, and he can show if anyone's
Right,
having
okay.
problems with the phone.
so. Don't forget Columbus Day on October the 12th, the 14th, Magic St. Titus. And then now, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home, keep bobbing and weaving, left hand high, stick and move, and keep your trunks off the canvas. Thank you!
Thank you. It's my
Sarah.
pleasure. Wendy,
Wendy, who's Sarah?
his wife.
My wife.
Wife Sarah. What the heck? Hallelujah. Okay. Thank you, and may God bless each and every one. Adios, amigos. Oh, my God. I'll get it there. I like the name Sarah. I don't know why I went to school with this girl named Sarah.